Honestly, we have to talk about this off air.
Well, I was actually, you know what you were just talking about, I was actually going to start with tonight.
What do you mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only because
Well, we can't continue the conversation.
no, we're not.
we're not
gonna harp on it. But we've come off a loss, obviously, and there's a lot of people that are a bit disgruntled about it and upset. But I think to start, we don't usually do this, but I was thinking about it today. It's just footy, man. At the end of the day, yeah. And I tuned into this Bondi stuff today, and obviously last night.
Yeah, it's shocking.
And it should give everyone some perspective. We do a podcast about football. We follow a football club. We've all got socials that we like to jump on, Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is, about football and about this club. But it's a very, very shocking situation up in Sydney, up in Bondi. And if that doesn't give you perspective on a 2-point loss, then I don't know what will.
Yeah, that really hit home.
Yeah. Well, it's also close to the footy world as well, with North Melbourne's past player and I don't know if board member, but he was there in some capacity. I think he played 70-something games. So his actual wife and child, and also has another kid. That's still in hospital. So obviously it's, a lot of people are very connected, and we obviously, pass on our condolences, etc., to the family. It's devastating. I mean, we found out at the game, boys.
Yeah.
So, obviously we know a few people
shocking
in New South Wales as well, very close.
Yeah.
Like I know I got family up there, so straight away, if my mum was on the phone. Obviously lucky, but anything can happen. It's just very unfortunate, and a lot of people are distraught.
Perspective.
Yeah, a lot of
definitely.
I hate to start on a down note, and we don't usually do that, but it's worth keeping in mind, because obviously tonight we might get a bit fiery, but at the end of the day,
when don't we in an episode?
It's just footy. So well said, Jules. We'll get into this. I was.
1, 2, 3, 4.
That's our moment. We finally, as a generation, we can hang our hat on a genuine moment.
Honestly, we are a force because of the intensity that we play at is just next level.
We want to be here. We want to impact finals. And it's one thing of obviously saying it, but we just lived it.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 122 of the Almost Blues Brothers podcast, part of the Blue Broad Media Network, and proudly powered in 2024 by the Image Online Studios here in Abbotsford. They do live calling, jingles, obviously the podcast studio as well. So if you need any of that, hit up Image Online, Abbotsford.
122, the points we could have scored in the loss.
He's a stat man. He's a stat man now.
If we hit the scoreboard.
Like I said, off the top.
14-14.
Yep. Scoreboard pressure.
Like I said off the top, down note to start on, but again, to keep perspective, outside of that and the shocking events over the weekend and the footy, how are your weekends, boys? What'd you get up to? You're in the garden up until 10 minutes before
That's
the podcast.
Why I'm wearing
today.
this. My gardening. Got Piota gardening. Piota.
There you go.
Are we doing sponsorship for that now?
Oh, no. We're not.
paying us.
He's on there.
He's not paying us. That was good. Livy and her sister are down. So got to spend some time with them yesterday, which is nice. Had a birthday at, you know where? Melbourne. I think it's Melbourne Bowls Club.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. Nice. Jules.
Good place.
Yep.
Got to go.
Buck's idea.
Couldn't be sending you there. No, really good. Like the layout and everything. It's a Jules Casano type place.
Oh, well, then it's locked in for the Bucks. I
And
think.
the architecture, like you got that like sort of like old school
Let's get
architecture.
it done.
But Jules, it was a twilight like night feel. I reckon would be good there. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a little hint.
Makes our job easy.
Do what you got to do.
No, it was good.
Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
Off Chapel.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Off Chapel. So there's plenty of bars after
Yeah.
the Bucks.
And more.
Yeah. George.
How's the weekend?
Oh,
And more.
obviously footy. Made some sauce today. And actually, you know what?
You made, when you say made sauce, you didn't bottle it. You
I didn't
making
bottle it.
sauce
I
on the
just
stove.
It's
on a
pasta.
stove.
Pasta
I
sauce.
made,
pasta
I
sauce.
made sauce yesterday. For
Yeah,
an hour.
but not the way.
I go, oh,
not,
yeah,
not the
I
way
got
I
a
do,
weekend
boys.
event.
Not the way I
What,
do.
what about my response? Oh, Jules, how many bottles? Oh, no, just on the stove.
like it's a weekend event. Yeah.
No, actually, well, I went to a restaurant on Friday night. It's called the Waiters Restaurant.
Ah, you're
You
telling us about
mentioned
this
you
yesterday.
like this one.
Now, it's pasta. It's Italian pasta joint. Very good. It's in Mayor Place. So it's very central. I think it's off Lonsdale or what's the other one? Collins. Okay, so it's very good, very very good. You don't need a book, but it's like there's got time slots. So like a 5:30 to 7, 7 to 8:30, and then 8:30 till 10. So very good joint, boys. And the backstory of
Did
it,
you like it, Jules?
I loved it.
Might be another idea for the Bucks.
But I don't know if
Turned out, we've done the bucks on the pod.
The backstory of it, all the waiters and chefs in the, well, not now, maybe now, but 30, 40, 50 years ago, you should actually go there after they would have obviously do their thing for dinner for
That's why
the
it's called.
public. So that's why it's called the Waiters Restaurant.
There you go.
Well, it's a really
so-
good way to get people in the door.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Marketing.
Anything that's got a
Yeah.
backstory. that
So it's
gets
actually cool. You
that
got
gets
these
people in.
stairs. It's nice. Very good joint.
Yeah, cool.
beautiful.
I've just planned your bucks in.
And into the show, Joe. huh?
Oh,
Let's get into it.
okay, yeah. Nah, I didn't do much over the weekend. To be
You watch
honest,
the Masters?
I've been watching. I have been staying up till 2, waking up at 5 since Friday. Friday,
Why 5?
Thursday, since
Thursday.
Thursday night.
Why 5?
That's the
That's
time
when
it
the
finishes.
coverage. That's when the main coverage starts. But the Masters coverage sort of starts like tonight. It's starting at midnight, I think, or 1.
And
Last round.
there's a vested interest, Jules.
A vested interest in Scotty Scheffler.
Vested.
Hey, I don't give too many tips very often, but I know my golf. Yeah.
Yep. I'll
So-
give him that.
So we're riding that tonight, and it could be a nice little
And to be
pay.
honest with you, all the money's going to go to your bucks.
Yeah. Other than that, footy didn't do much today. I got a mate down from he's down from Canberra. He moved to Canberra recently. He's down in Melbourne for the day, so he came over today for an hour or so, and then that was it. So pretty chill weekend for me.
Well, you're off soon, aren't you?
I'm off in a month, so we've got another 4 weeks in this lovely studio, and then back on StreamYard for 4 weeks, unfortunately, boys. But you guys can still come. in
Probably
here if
good
you want.
opportunity to host.
I think. Surely you got things planned, Joe, for those
for the trip.
4 weeks.
Yeah, me and
That means you can't participate in the show.
me and Gab. Well, there's priorities. Yeah, so it's pod.
Gab, you listening to
Everything
this?
else on a Sunday. No, I'll still be here just on StreamYard. No, we're going to Portugal for a week. So
Nice.
I'm booking that this week. And then London. I'm there. This could be the greatest 3 weeks of my life. I'm there for the end of the EPL season. Arsenal could be in a title race on the last day. I might be there at the Emirates against Everton. And then I come back on the 2nd of June, just changed my flight because I was supposed to leave on the 1st of June. I was watching Champions League the other morning. Arsenal Bayern. And I went, I wonder in Champions League final is how much I miss out by. 1st of June.
Yeah.
Changed my flight to the next day. How's this? Got refunded $5 from Qatar. Thank you very much. I'll take it. It's meant to be.
good.
So I'm in the ballot for the Champions League final. If they come through, I'll die a happy man. I think I'll die a very happy man. We'll see.
I've got a friend that could help him out.
Yeah, well, you're going to get back to me on this.
Yeah.
Are you not?
Yep. I have news.
What's the news?
Hmm.
What?
It's looking promising.
No, don't tell me
It is,
that.
it
Don't
is.
tell me that.
So
Don't tell me that.
inside is inside Man City type connections, and it's not.
No?
No,
Okay.
but it can happen.
No way.
More so if
If they get in.
correct if they progress.
Well, I've got a
the
vested
further
interest.
you go, the more it could be likely.
I'm an Arsenal supporter, but I now really want Man City. All right.
we need to talk footy now.
Enough mucking
I think
around.
it's enough. I think
Without-
we need to.
Any further ado.
Let's get into it.
1, 2, 3, 4.
That's our moment. We finally, as a generation, we can hang our hat on a genuine moment.
Honestly, we are a force because of the intensity that we play at is just next level.
We want to be here. We want to impact finals, and it's one thing of obviously saying it, but we just lived it.
All right. And if you are here live, we are live as we are every week. Thank you for joining us in the live chat. Make sure you're commenting throughout. Ask us any questions as we go. And while you're here, smash that like button, hit subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify during the week, hit that 5 stars and hit that follow button. Boys, first loss of the year. 4-1. Some said it was a danger game. I might have been one going in, but it
No,
was.
everyone's shocked.
You know what? It was.
Everyone is surprised
It,
from that.
it was a bit of a shock in the end. Now we know how that feels. At the end of the day, that was it was very ironic that we lost our first one for a long time, in the way that we've been beating teams up. Essentially,
Do you think Adelaide's like our bogey side?
well, obviously they are. We
Well,
can't
not
beat
in
them.
Melbourne, we beat them.
Yeah, well,
I mean, we bet them a couple of years ago at
it's
Marvel.
been 2 years. That's
At
what I'm
Marvel,
saying.
we do.
Yeah, but last year we only played them once
Mhm.
at thing. And the last time we bet them was when Ola went away. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
How's this for
It
coincidence?
was
Though?
literally that day.
How's this for coincidence? So last year we were undefeated going into round 5. Played Adelaide. Sam Walsh came back. We lost. Undefeated going into round 5 this year. Play Adelaide. Sam Walsh comes back. We lost.
Oh, God.
Now let's just hope the next 6 weeks don't turn out
Yeah, how did-
as it did.
Memberships.
Uh,
No, we're not going to be there.
final scores on the night 14-14, 98, the Blues. Adelaide 16-4, which is where we're going to start here. 100. Goals for the Blues: Akers, Cottrell, Cripps, Durden, Fantasia, Elijah, Owies, Pitternet, 1 each. Mackay 2, Kerno 4. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 goal kickers.
Mm,
That's a fucking good spread.
When you have 28 shots,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
you
40
expect it.
46,000.
Yeah, correct.
46,000 at Marvel. Jack Carroll came on in the second quarter to replace Adam Sard with a hammy. Mark Pitnet came in late before the game for Adam
Chev.
Chera with a hammy. And Mitch McGovern was on the bench late in the game with a hammy. And we'll get there. We'll get there.
We will.
But first,
Yeah.
there's one thing I want to kick this off with, because we've been talking today, and I think we're all very much aligned to this. And we might actually start with you
A
tonight.
calc.
Sure. So I just want to. Well, my calculation is based off scores or shots. Okay, essentially, or the amount of score that Adelaide were able to put on the board. And just to say, it probably never happens. Okay, and reason being, okay, so in 2023, 100 points or more was scored 104 times. 104 times. Okay. Now, not once was the score. Sorry, not once was the behind tally 4 or lower. So it just goes to show that they literally, obviously, they kick 16-4. So to kick
They kick
100
like they like
But
to
it just
end on
doesn't happen.
Like
it,
they like
it
to
doesn't
end on
happen.
It just doesn't
It
happen.
doesn't happen.
No.
So, and also to put into perspective as well, the last, I think it was 10 minutes into the third quarter, from then until the end of the game, we had 13 shots to their 7.
And I think our efficiency inside 50 was the same as theirs for the game.
Yeah,
It was, yeah.
And our disposal efficiency was the same as theirs
yeah.
for the
A
game.
lot of the stats were actually pretty
Very
even.
close.
Yeah.
Or it
The
actually,
game-
the,
the game-
that's actually favoured us.
They did.
Yeah, a lot. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Clearances.
But at the end of the day, where was the game won and lost?
well, on the scoreboard.
It's in front of
Naturally.
goal.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
And I don't know if you can get the picture up of where they.
I didn't upload it.
But if you're able to go, where do you get that from? The AFL.
So it's from the Footy Live app.
So it's footy. There's a Footy Live app out there. So
I'll
if
try and get
if
this
you
up
want to
and
have
show it
a
to the camera.
if you want to get a squiz of it, just where they had their shots compared to us.
I don't know.
Um,
I don't know if we can see this. This is
That's
a
not bad, Joe.
bit amateur.
It's not bad. You can see.
But the top is Carlton. So that's where we scored. The blue dots are where we scored our goals from. The bottom
Yeah, look at their
is
opportunities.
Adelaide, where
Yeah.
they scored their goals from. Now, we basically scored in the hot zones there. That's that hot zone from that V from the goal square out. They kicked 3 from
Yeah.
beyond 50 on the angle.
Yeah. So it's just a bit of perspective. And even Voss in his presser, he actually said that in terms of the game that we actually played, like the game style, well, closer than ever we have been.
Well, he
Even though we lost the game.
He did say that he felt that we were more balanced.
Correct.
That's the word he used. So
Yep.
he mentioned balance.
He did.
And he was talking about that from the clearance perspective and that we dominated it and that we hadn't had that previously. For me, the game early on, we'll go quarter by quarter. But for me, a stat that stood out was that they had scored at the end of the first quarter, they had scored 24 points off turnover to our 6.
There you go. That's a very different profile
right.
from the previous weeks.
Correct. And that's something that we would do to teams. And you could see very early on that defensively, as a back 6 in particular, that we're struggling to deal with transition when we give the ball away. And we gave the ball away in, I feel, key areas that we could get punished. Okay.
There's another interesting stat. I think we had more forward half intercepts than they did.
We did.
So
Yes.
from that
I
profile,
think it was like 24 to 11 or 13
which
or
is
something.
and we had 11 tackles inside forward 50 again and 62 tackles for the game, which is way above the AFL average for both. But that profile of our game was still there. So we were still turning the ball over in the areas that we wanted to. We were still obviously creating opportunities. We had 28 shots on goal. Your point in that is when we did create the turnover but didn't create an opportunity from it, it slingshotted the other way too easily.
Well, whether we wasted the ball or it was from their ball movement, but that's at the end of the day, you could see defensively we were struggling.
Yeah.
We really were.
I mean, Voss even touched it in his press conference, and he actually said
He was
that
shocked.
he was
I found he was shocked.
you know, how do you go over playing against Fremantle when he actually felt that was our best game defensively? And then obviously pretty much him saying that this was our worst game defensively. Thoughts, boys. Why? Why do you think that's the case?
Well, can I start here? Bjorn McCarthy in the live chat. Pressure was missing. Fogarty leads that.
Yeah, he bet us to it.
Was
We're gonna mention that.
was Fogarty that much of a factor?
think-
Forward of centre.
In the second quarter, there was a tackle made by someone that didn't stick. I think it was Dirds, and we all turned to each other and said that if that was Fog, he's holding the
tackle
ball.
sticks. Yep.
So I think from an actual again pressure, our pressure rating was massive by the end of the game, but from Fog's tackle stick and his pressure's immense. So I think it was noticeable. He's him being absent anyway for that game. But at the same time, where we were turning the ball over didn't affect him.
No.
Well, we were turning the ball over in crucial areas that were then getting punished.
Yeah.
I saw Weeders 5 meters away from his man.
So on that one, and I spoke about this with you pre-show. So that shocked me. It shocked all of us, I think, at the game to see Weeders have his colours lowered like he did. Today on Twitter, someone made a really good point about that though. So it almost looked like Weeders was trying to mark the space in between Walker and Darcy Fogarty, so that Fogarty didn't have a lead up in behind, and that it was almost like we were happy to give Taylor Walker 55 and out. Now I get it. In theory, that actually does make a lot of sense. So you're not giving them a high percentage look closer to goal by shutting down Fogarty's leading patterns. But when Taylor Walker's dobbing them from 50 in the first half, surely there's got to be a mentality shift to go, well, this isn't working. Maybe let's just man up a little bit tighter here.
Yeah. I mean,
because it didn't happen all game. It was shocking to watch.
I can understand that point as well. And obviously we had a bit of conversation pre-show, Joe, about it when you brought it up. But I'm just thinking, I actually want Fogarty on a lead with Kemp.
Yeah.
I think
that's right.
Kemp can go,
agree.
which we did see in the pocket, like where we were sitting.
He's got the closing speed.
He's got the closing speed.
Yeah.
I don't want him in a one-on-one duel.
Yeah.
Like you saw the size difference. And obviously if it is popped up, then you have the likes of a third defender to come over, like a Gov, like a Newman, etc. Even if Wiedering is upfield, you know. So I think we want Wiedering as deep as possible.
More often than not,
other teams want him higher up as possible.
Correct.
So I just think that's sort of was playing in Wiedering's mind. I feel like as if we need to be confident enough to not have Wiedering as deep for parts of the game, especially when the ball is so close to goal.
We came from such a different game against Freo to now Adelaide. And I was actually thinking to myself, was that contrast in game styles the reason for us? We just didn't look responsive. And
Reactive.
then we start reactive. So then, that's the word. We didn't come into but then we started to actually come into our own the more the game went on. But there was too many lapses that didn't allow us to see the game off, I guess, as well defensively.
Yeah, well,
There was a lot of lapses where
Oh.
Adelaide would actually kick 2 or 3 quick goals.
I mean, I think we'll touch in terms of lapses late on. But yeah, I agree. And I think our pressure sort of went up as well, like in terms of our performance. So over the course of the game, from halfway during the third quarter, I reckon it actually did go up to another level.
Well, I've got the pressure rating stats.
Yeah.
I took a screenshot of it today. Up the Baggers on Twitter does a fantastic job of staying on top of this stuff.
Yeah, and you could see it. I mean, Joe, you were mentioning it during the
didn't take a
third.
screenshot.
Yeah, but you mentioned
Let
it
me
during
find
the third quarter, Joe.
So yeah, pressure rating quarter by quarter. So first quarter was 172 to 173, pretty even, below average for the AFL. The average is 180. Second quarter, 185 for Carlton, 166 to Adelaide. So we
Yeah.
started getting on top, which I do remember.
You could
That's
identify it. Yeah.
where we started to create a little bit more opportunity. Third quarter, 174 to 181. So again, pretty even. Now for the game, the average was 186 on the pressure rating for Carlton, 181 for Adelaide. The last quarter, we had a pressure rating of 211. Okay, which is through the roof. Do you know what Adelaide's pressure rating was in the last quarter? 214, right? So
Massive.
we basically said to them, we're not going to let you win this game, right? You're gonna have to beat us, right? You're gonna have to go with us in this last quarter to win this game, considering it was tied at 3/4 time. We gave them everything, and I remember sitting there with you. You'd already left at that point. You had the birthday. I remember sitting there with you, and we both went, pressure's through the roof here. This is us, yeah. They went at 214.
Yeah, it's
They
massive.
said, "Fuck yeah, we'll beat you," and they did. And to their credit, mate, I know we were 16 points up, and you should never drop a game from that point. That's probably the most disappointing aspect of the game.
That's
last,
what I wanted to
last
mention.
night.
Yeah.
But to Adelaide's credit, to put up that sort of pressure rating when the heat is on you and you're fighting back to that extent is insane. That's insane. That is backs against the wall. They knew that was finals on the line for them. They can't start 0-5 and play finals. So you saw it in their demeanor all night.
Yeah, I definitely agree. That you mentioned the fact that we were 16 points up and let it slip. That's probably an element, bar from the fact defensively we were poor in patches. That's probably the biggest factor that I look at and go, with what we want, that's probably the biggest disappointment, was allowing that slip where you're 16 points up with X amount of minutes to go.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Yeah, that's right. For me, a little bit inexcusable. I actually thought Vossi would be more disappointed about that fact in his presser than anything else. Given the fact that we'd actually got some ascendancy, like that was the biggest margin of the game, boys.
Well, he actually
16 points was the biggest margin of the game.
It was, yeah.
correct. Yeah, I mean, he did touch on it in terms of
Moments.
Well, he
spoke about
the
moments.
moments that maybe we would like to take back. Obviously, we've won how many close ones, and
But when you're
obviously
16
we've
points
lost
up,
one.
does that become a close one? Like when you're 16 points up, you've changed that. You've changed the narrative a little bit in my eyes.
I think
That's a 3-goal margin.
I think for him, I reckon he's just trying to answer the question, but behind closed doors,
He's fuming.
well, you'd hope there's other conversations
Oh, there would be.
happening, but there's probably reasons why. And obviously, you touched on
There
it
would be.
pre-show.
I still
Payne.
I still think it is a close game at that point, considering how many goals were kicked.
Yeah,
at that
but can I
point. So
tell you a
there's-
moment?
at that point, there were 27 goals kicked in the game.
I
So a
understand.
3-goal margin can, like, based on the momentum of the game and how it was being played out, 3 goals wasn't enough in hindsight and in retrospect to say we can rest on our laurels here.
Yeah,
If it was a low scoring game, if it was a low scoring game, makes sense.
No,
There
but
was-
Joe, you like I
there's
was-
15 lead changes.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
but it was 16 points.
That's right. That's what
the
I'm trying to
highest
say.
point of time. Like, who's going to change a lead with 3
I still
goals?
think, I
the
still think in a
difference?
high scoring game, a 16-point lead isn't the same as a 16-point lead if the scores were the same as the Freo game
So,
last year,
Last
week.
The reason I don't want to hype too negative about it because it's obviously our first loss in this
Long time.
season. Yeah,
Third loss in our last 18.
Yeah,
Let's just keep that
okay,
in mind
but
too.
in saying that, you've hit the ascendancy. You've got a 16-point margin, biggest margin of the game. Then you're looking at moments where Isaac Rankin's taken an uncontested mark inside 50 with Weeders and Zach Williams just sort of looking at the ball. Do you know what I mean? And he kicked it behind in that moment. But do you understand what I'm trying to say? Is, shut shop.
Yeah,
End
I mean,
Shut shop, put the foot down, you're done.
we should have.
Seriously.
Yeah, we should have iced the game, but And there's a couple of comments here as well saying Adelaide basically took the game on, threw everything at it, and they better set our own game. It's what we've done. It's literally what we've done for the last 10 games that have been.
Or did
decided
we
by
lose
under
with
a
our
goal.
kicking? Did we lose?
Yeah, well, we
Like,
said this today.
Did they beat us or did we lose?
Well,
I think
we said
we
we-
lost more than they won. To be
Yeah,
honest.
of course.
We lost more than they won. Correct.
We didn't take our chances when we should have. But when it came to crunch time, Adelaide threw the book at it, threw the kitchen sink at it, and they literally beat us
Yeah.
at our own
because
game.
always
We have won our last 10 games by under a goal before yesterday.
everyone's talking about the
the
old
last,
moment
sorry, the last 10 games that were decided by under a goal.
I-
where he
Okay.
stubbed his toe. Yeah, you know,
It shouldn't come to that,
It
though.
shouldn't. Correct.
No, it
because
shouldn't
you're
come to that.
16 points up.
No,
It shouldn't be down to a
I'm
moment
not
with
here,
Owie.
I'm not here to trash Owie
No, but
or
it
Harry
did,
or any
Joe.
of those moments. It shouldn't get to that point.
There was a lot of people trashing it.
I know, but I'm saying I'm not here to do that tonight.
No.
I'm not doing it.
But that's what I'm saying. If
Yeah.
you look at the game as its entirety, then that moment should have been irrelevant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the performance for me was dull compared to what I was expecting
Agree.
against an Adelaide side 0-4.
Agree.
So why did it change so much from the week prior, or from what we've seen for the season? Especially in regards to transition, which we've been putting teams away with.
Personnel
Yeah.
changes.
I think we were
Inconsistency.
speaking about it pre-show as well. For me, I mean, I think teams would have sort of tried to work us out. What do we go like 80 points off transition, then 70, and then 60 something in the first 3-4 games or whatever it was. Obviously, Freo is a bit of an outlier, I reckon, because you're playing against a Freo
And it
with
was a low-scoring game, yeah.
low scoring. The ball movement really isn't there when you play a Freo side. Teams going to work us out, especially the patterns that we're actually trying to run. I think it's just a development with us in terms of trying to add little aspects of our game, especially with our transition in terms of the way we actually move the ball, which will happen.
Yeah.
It's an evolution.
You could see clearly that we're getting the ball out of the middle a lot more.
Mm.
All right. We're dominating the clearance, stoppage in the center. All right. Do you both know how many goals we did kick off turnover?
For the game.
Yeah. Do you know?
No.
Do you, Jules?
No.
I
I'd
haven't
be,
seen that. I haven't
I'd be
seen that
very
stat
interested
today.
to know.
But we only scored 6 in the first quarter off turnover.
I
Is that
know.
right?
That's right.
Yeah. So if that's a pattern for the game,
But you're
we're
trying
probably
to.
nowhere near as
But
what we did
why
for
I'm
the
trying to
previous-
say this is because Jules's question was saying like why was it different?
Yeah.
Because I felt as though with the inclusion of Pito, we'd actually gone in with a different
So,
agenda.
This
Yeah,
is
for
where
It was to win the stoppage,
sure.
to
This is
win the
where-
clearance,
this is where
to be
Well,
dominant
he
in
said
there.
we're more balanced.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
So I think it did look different naturally because we were biasing to win that element of the
game.
The game,
Which we did.
this
correct.
is where I was trying to
We
lead
did.
that. This
and we
is
created score from it.
Yeah.
This is where I was trying to lead that. And it was a question that someone on Twitter, Wombat, I got to give him a shout out because he said, if you don't shout me out when you're talking about this, if asking this question, I'll kill you. So Wombat on Twitter said, he basically asked what we thought about the effectiveness of Pito. His take was it took Harry out of the game because Harry sort of has been, which it's a fair point, really. Harry in the ruck sort of gets him around the ground, gets him involved a lot more
He
in
still
play.
had 10 marks.
Still, I know he's
He's had
still,
14 touches, 10 marks,
Yeah,
2 goals.
he was still there.
Pretty
But
good games.
does it take Harry out of the game? Did it lead to imbalance? And essentially, did winning clearance ultimately hurt us at the end of the day? For me, yeah. Yeah. It wasn't our profile. However,
We kicked 14 behinds, Joe.
what I will say,
we kicked 14 behinds.
that's fine. We've
you kick
won.
one of those, you win.
I know. Or if this is where I was going to go, would we be saying the same thing if Adelaide kicked 15-5? And I'm not even talking 10-10. I'm talking 15-5. No,
I
we
mean,
would have won the game.
we probably still would have had the conversation.
Would have had, but it'd be a very different demeanor,
yeah.
right? And we probably wouldn't be going, "Oh, Pito, didn't do the job, wasn't the
Mm.
right profile, we didn't go in with the
Yeah.
right balance."
I mean,
we would have won the game. We'd be going, "Well, it worked. We walked
Yeah.
away at the 4
Well,
points."
Vossi's clearly seen something positive about it because he said we're balanced regarding that area. If me personally, watching Pito, I didn't actually think he was right.
yeah,
Didn't look right.
He
He only played 63 minutes.
he played 50% of the game.
Yeah.
Mm.
And in the first quarter, he actually asked to actually come to the bench. And then we didn't see him for
Yeah.
nearly another quarter.
I was asking
Yeah.
you, where is he? I didn't see him for like 15 minutes.
So this is the thing. So we won the clearances by 7. He had 6 clearances. So he's the difference this
Wow.
week. When you think about it, he was the inclusion.
Yeah,
and
four-
Walsh.
four
obviously.
Walsh had
Yeah.
8 clearances.
I know, but 4 from the centre from Pito out of his 6, right?
Mm.
DeConning didn't have 1. Okay, he had 4 clearances for the
Pito
game.
had
0 out of the
15
centre.
hit-outs in 50% of the game time.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be interesting to see how many times Pito was in the middle.
He had 17
centre.
centre. He had 17 centre bounce tendencies.
Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, so then how
and
many?
then how many goals were kicked for the game? 20,
14 and
30. So he attended more
30.
centre bounces than TDK.
correct. Oh well, yeah, there would have been more because each quarter plus four.
Yeah, that's
four
right.
as well.
Yeah.
So,
So
so it's probably balanced.
so it depends. This
In
is
less game time.
it might have been balanced, but less game time. Regardless, point I'm trying to make here is for weeks people have been saying, and we've said, where's the clearance game? When's that going to come? How are we going to add that layer? We had a discussion about 2-3 weeks ago about how effective Pito might be. We saw how effective he was in just getting those clearance numbers up at the end of the day. Walsh obviously was an added factor too, which we spoke about a couple of weeks. So you add those two in, we win clearances, but ultimately we lose the game. And we don't look like the team that we've been for the last 3 weeks. So how important then, this is the question I want to ask you both, how important is it to get the stoppage game right? Because for me, we look a much better side when we're not focusing on that aspect of the game. And it's a small sample size. Small sample size. It's one game, but we genuinely looked like a much better side for the previous 4 weeks.
I think we're a different team because Pitt only played 50%
Correct.
as well. So, I think personally, I think rolling with one ruck, okay, is better overall with the inclusion of Walsh. As long as you got the Walsh to the chair, because I think around the ball when you have those types of players, like you're going to win them. But in saying that, I think Pito does add something to our game as well, but it's what kind
It's
of
opposition dependent in my eyes.
and what kind of team do we want to be?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I personally think.
That's the question.
What kind of profile,
profile do you want?
we
Yeah, but from what it seems as though we're trying to like
have a
be able to have
balance,
two strings to our. You know what
which
I
I
mean?
like.
Which you probably need.
Well, you do, and we will ask them for this last year. So I guess from a coaching perspective, they are doing the right thing
But
because
did
they're
they
trying
get it
to
right?
strengthen.
But did they get it right on the
Well,
weekend?
I don't think actually Pito. To be honest with you, he played 50% of the game time, as we mentioned. All right. Now Chera was laid out. I actually don't think that this was the game for Pito to showcase the effectiveness of what he can bring.
No.
Do you understand?
Yep, fair enough.
Why?
Why? Because he played 50% of the game time.
Yeah.
Correct.
That's right.
So
Can I also add to
Well,
that?
because he wasn't meant to play.
Why is he playing?
That's right. But that's the question that I have is
So
if you're playing 50% of game time, I cannot tell you how shocked I was when I saw that. He shouldn't be playing.
can I also add to that?
He shouldn't.
Can I also add to that? Losing Sard early on, you can't discount how much that would have hurt our transition as well, because he's a big part of that, right? So you lose Sard.
Well, we weren't effective on transition
No, but I'm saying
when he was on
but-
the ground.
All right, but when you're late in the game and fatigue starts to get in, you need someone like that to be able to break.
Yeah, I
lines.
get that.
Right. So my point is, there are other factors too that you have to take into account in a discussion like this to go, was this game the game to take as the sample to go, is it going to work or not? For me,
No.
I know you said you just want one ruck. I can't make the judgment call yet, personally.
Yeah, I'm the
On
same.
whether or not there's one ruck or two that we need to roll with going forward. Because unfortunately, our personnel at the moment now, and we can go into this now if you want as well with injuries, they're stacking up. We don't have the run that we probably want on the outside with Cunners out, with Sard now out as well. How are we going to be? How are we actually going to be able to evaluate how effective two rucks is versus
Yeah,
one when you don't have your full cattle?
I
available?
agree, but I think we've touched it on I don't know how many episodes, but especially recently that history tells us that you win premierships off turnover.
Yeah, 100%.
So if having two rucks is going to make it more difficult to be able to score off turnover, I'm sorry, I'm not having two rucks.
Yeah, but is one game enough to say that is the case?
You probably
Well,
can't
we've
judge it
had
off one.
seasons with other teams, whoever's won premierships.
Yeah, well,
Does that
no.
make
But
so-
I'm saying
so-
for us, is one game enough to say that we can't do both?
No, it's
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
No, it's not. But I'm just going off not us. I'm just going off all the other teams in AFL who have won premierships and multiple premierships in the last, I don't know how many years. And usually, traditionally, they have one ruck and they've been scoring off turnover.
Is Michael Harley and who is it? Kathy Stephanides in the live chat. They're doing a
Oh,
they're doing a count on how many times Jules says obviously.
keep it up.
Have they been doing a count?
Apparently,
What am I at?
they stopped a while ago, but I'm sure they'll come in now. Look, the comments in the live chat basically, yeah, they're very 50-50 on this as well. Like, you don't know yet at the end of the day. Look,
I started to question it.
Yeah, I'm
In like what from what you're saying, I started to question it.
already
That's why I
questioning
had to go back to the stats. No, I had to go back to the stats
to see.
when I saw he played 63 minutes out of 120 something, he got 6 clearances. He kicked a goal. Like he had
He hit the
15.
scoreboard,
he had
man.
fif-
He had impact.
listen. He had 15 hit outs. I thought, well, I probably need to wait
Yeah, but
because he just didn't look.
He
into
doesn't
it.
have-
is it
he-
detrimental to a Harry, to a TDK
Yeah.
if he does play?
Yeah.
That's, you know what I mean? Like, it's the, what am I talking?
Could Riley
Do you
O'Brien?
take more? Do you take less?
Could Riley O'Brien have had more of an impact if he didn't?
I don't know. Maybe in the tap work, but
Do you
I mean,
understand what I'm trying to
how,
say?
many, how many taps to advantage did Pito have, and how many taps did TDK have? TDK have?
TDK had 20. Oh,
No,
so
he had
advantage.
hit outs.
I'm not sure.
No,
You
we
know,
don't know.
like,
I'm not sure.
Really?
No, you have to look at that. But
I would like to see, on average, how many hit outs to advantage there are to not in total, not just Harry, TDK, and a Pito, just across the AFL competition. It'd
Mm.
probably be negative.
Well-
It probably would be.
negative.
Imagine how imagine how difficult it would be to tap to advantage compared to just hit it anywhere and the opposition get the ball.
Unless-
Yeah, I know.
I know Pito led the league in hit outs to advantage last season before his injury.
Yeah, in the 5-6 games, 4-5 games.
And then when
or
he
whatever,
came when he came back, he was right. He was right
Yeah,
there as well.
But
for
do
the
you
6
understand what I'm
months
trying
he
to
came back.
say?
Yeah, I get you. I get you. Look, time will tell. I don't think this is the last time we're going to see the two rucks.
No,
No, it
way.
definitely
I
won't.
think we'll see it next week as well against Jaber. They're going to roll with it next week. There's everything tells me they're going to roll with it again.
when I watched the presser and Voss's reaction, it didn't initially. It seemed as though it was him not impressed with having the two. I then didn't see it like that. I think the late out from Ches sort of
I've just had a
sort
thought.
of trumped him a little bit.
I've just had a thought on this. How much are we missing Jack Silvani then in this when you think about it?
I think big time.
Because you know what his role would have been, right? That's second ruck.
Correct.
Yeah, I actually hadn't even thought about that until right now. Like that could actually be a big part of.
But Joe, we've got 6-7 injuries at the moment.
No, I
You could
know.
say that about
A lot of
A
players.
lot of
yeah.
players.
No, but hold on. Within the context of this conversation around stoppage,
okay,
around
all right.
ruck work,
yeah,
Jack's role when Jack and TDK were working together last year, they were
yeah, it
phenomenal.
was working.
They're
Yeah.
phenomenal. It
Yeah.
worked, right?
Mm.
Yeah, food for thought. All right, injuries.
Can I go on? Can I go
Do
on?
it.
about that?
Look, listen. You're
No, I'm not gonna.
for
I'm not gonna.
context. Hold on. So just to give everyone context, that if you've watched the show before, if you've listened to us, or if you haven't, Dan's profession, you're a sports scientist essentially.
Yeah.
Right.
Strength and conditioning. coach.
Strength and conditioning, sports science, it's your background. Jules, I know you've got the degree in it as well, but as a profession, Dan, this is your area. You've banged on about it for a while. We've had discussions outside of the podcast. I've been very reluctant, and I'm not going to tip into this at all because it's not my
I'm not
area.
going to go into too much detail.
However-
I'm just going to raise a question to you both.
No, I want to ask you a question because
Go.
you're the one that can educate people on this. Okay, from your perspective, when you've got this many soft tissue injuries now, okay, because it's how many hammies?
6.
Six hamstrings. It's 6
And
hamstrings.
I just want to make sure that I'm right.
yeah, we'll go through
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
But so at least what I'm aware of, obviously you got Govan Sarf on the weekend. Chera, I think he did it on training on the Thursday.
Yep.
Correct me if I'm wrong. And then obviously you got Martin, who's missed through a variety of things. Then he's 4 to 6
Yeah, but
with a hamstring as
that's
well
right.
now. And then you got Cunners and Motts.
Mott's is a calf, I think. Essentially,
Okay.
whatever.
Well,
They're
5
all
or
soft
6.
tissue. They're all soft tissue.
All soft tissue.
So if we're in it now, I have discussions about this with Terry a lot around what the purpose of this is for. At the end of the day, we want to educate people, right? And we've actually got at the end of the day, we've got an expert in the room that could potentially offer some insight and education to listeners and to viewers in terms of why we might be in the state that we're in. Now, I want to preface this by saying we're not here.
I'm not here to criticize.
We're not here to bash the S&C.
No.
We're not here to bash the high performance department. This is purely, if you want to go there, you give your perspective on why we might find ourselves in this position right now.
The way I see it is this: the role of your high performance team is to prevent injury, keep players on the park, keep players in the best physical condition that they can to be available for selection for us to then be able to win games.
And they can perform.
Correct. Now, and I don't want to go too critical, but my concern is that I would hope that there would be discussions with the team, all right, the S&C team, as to why we are seeing so many injuries. Because in round 5, to have 6, 7 soft tissue injuries, for me, doesn't make sense. Not this early. It really doesn't. Not when the role of them is to be able to be up for selection. That could then, because Joe said to me off air, yeah, but if it's in round 16, 17, then
And then you're fucked going into finals.
no, but you said to me, oh, that's when I'll judge this. But it's too late. It's too late to judge that, because what if this is already, look, we lost to Adelaide.
No, I
If
think
you
the
have
point,
certain players up for selection, does that change?
I think the point that I made was,
Do you know what I mean? You're
You-
keeping certain players on the
And then you
park.
can rest players.
Does that change having them available?
is there maybe an element to this that we don't know, obviously, but
Mhm.
I'm not criticizing the program. I'm just saying
not
that
either.
I feel as though there has to be some questions raised as to why we are getting so
I think
many
people
injuries.
people have raised questions though. This has been a talking point that we haven't touched on for a long time, if ever, to be honest. But it's been a talking point.
Well, it's
for a
pretty
while.
in our face now.
Yeah.
Look, I'm fully aware that the club, a couple of weeks out from the season and then going into rounds 1, 2 before we had the bye, or sorry, opening round, then round 1, that they had a very big block of
Who
training.
cares? Don't have the block in that portion of the prep.
Okay,
Well,
so this is.
I'm just saying,
these-
would
these
that
are-
be a factor? Could it be a
It
factor?
could be. This is the other thing. Could the factor also be that these hammies or soft tissue injuries, especially when you take into account that they're injury-prone players in
Should you be
Hold on,
tailoring
hold on,
it?
wait,
Should you
wait,
be
let me
tailoring
finish.
it, Joe?
Let me finish. Martin, Mott,
Cunners.
Cunners, right? They're three that have had soft tissue across.
Gov.
Even Ches last year.
Gov.
Now, right? So is there maybe an element to this where they're not actually as bad as what's being reported, but the club's looking at it, and I'm only looking at this based on what we saw last year, looking at it going, you know what? Why risk him now? We need him to be fit and firing for the back half of the year. Give him an extra couple of weeks.
We're speculating though.
Of course,
that
but
they're doing
all
that.
but all of this is speculation, is
But
it
we
not?
don't know what
No
grade.
one knows.
But all we know is they're out with hamstrings. That's what we
Yes.
do know.
Or there's playing
That's the
being
only
managed.
factor we do.
Yeah. The point that I'm trying to make is we don't know. You're right. And like you said, Jules, there's a number of factors that we just don't know. We just don't. That could come into calculation at the end of the day. I understand what you're saying.
The only thing
You
we
don't
know
wanna
is their
see-
hamstrings.
You don't want to see 6 players with soft tissue injuries in round 8, in round 5. At the end of the day, ideally, you don't even want to see 3 or 4. To be fair,
Do you want to field your best team possible?
of course, every week.
So
you
does the
do.
injuries allow you to do that?
No,
No. So who's accountable for those?
Pretty simple.
Stop.
Yeah.
Move on.
You happy?
Move on.
You really want us to talk about it tonight? It's
but
fair. It's
I'm
fair.
not,
Like
I'm,
I
not,
said,
I'm not criticizing, like I'm not hammering.
No,
I'm
no,
just
no.
trying to get some
No, I think
understanding
that's
to
balanced.
what's happening with us because we can't field
I think
our
that's a
best
very
22 as a result.
I think that's a very balanced way to approach that discussion because a lot of the discourse that I've seen online has not been balanced and it's just targeted at certain people, targeted at certain. Obviously, Andrew Russell is a name that comes up. I don't think that's fair. I just don't think it's fair. At the end of the day, none of us know. None of us know. When there's an expert in the room that can give his opinion on why it might be happening and what could potentially be done different, you listen and you educate yourself. That's all this. That's all that this needed to be. I think you did well.
Can I host now?
It's a very sensitive topic. Trust me, this is a very, very.
Well, that's why I didn't want to go too. I'm
Cutthroat.
not, yeah, listen.
You didn't. No, you didn't. You didn't cross the line. I don't think we've crossed the line at all. Now, speaking of online discourse, so we've lost one game for the year. It's our third of our last 18,
They've seen Armageddon.
and that's what it felt like on Twitter last night from our fans. So, I want to harp back to we went on SEN with Paulo. We did we went to the SEN studios preseason, did that episode with Paulo, and he asked us, what's our biggest strength? And we all said the unity of our fans, yeah, and how united we are as a football club. If we're that fragile that after one loss, this discourse around, and I quote, I'm not going to say who it was on Twitter, I'm not going to give him out, but I quote, around our joke of a football club after one loss, how fragile a fan base are we? And surely we have all learnt from last year at this point to just bide our time a little bit and not jump at shadows.
Is it a minority, you think?
I
I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh, I think yes, but they come out very loud.
That's usually what happens, isn't it? In
Yeah.
all aspects of
Society.
society.
We'll get there.
Maybe this could be the end of the show topic.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying that's usually the case.
It is.
So I just think, look, obviously we can have
But
conversations.
I know what you're saying, but it only takes one, like that video last year of whoever it was abusing
Yeah,
the players
correct.
over the ramp. It only takes one for it to blow out of proportion,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, for sure.
And then it infiltrates other people's opinions and views, infiltrates the club, whatever it may be.
That's social media these days.
It is.
You know, and when you can take a bit of a grab and then obviously share it across, I don't know, thousands, tens of thousands of people, or even hundreds of thousands, that's what happens. But I mean, surely we're better than that. You know, particularly
I would
after
hope so.
particularly after last season in terms of what we went through. What were we? 3-0?
Yep.
Sorry, no, we had a draw and 3 wins, and then with round 5 we lost, and then we sort of went on a bit of a rut for 6 or so games. Then we won like 9 or 10 of the last, 10 games. Pretty much until we ran against.
Hey, we got
played
sucked into it. After the
GS.
Essendon game, I was ready to give up. We all were,
I didn't know where I
right?
was.
But
And,
Swan Street.
I mean, I think we've learnt from last year.
you'd hope so.
Yeah, but the players have learnt from moments, and you'd hope that us as supporters have done the same. I agree with Jules that I think it's a minority that are acting out in what what we're all seeing, but it's loud.
Yes, and my concern is that if we come out and lose to GWS, I'm not saying we will. I actually think we're going to beat them, to be honest. But let's say we come out and lose to GWS. Let's say we lose 3 of our next 4, yeah, and we're all of a sudden 5-4. How loud is that voice going to become? And that's not where we need to get back to. Because if we go back there, we saw the result.
We can't get sucked in.
Like, we're a big part of this. The players themselves have said it. The club, it's been the narrative that came out of the club in the offseason. The supporters of this football club are such a big part in how we perform. We just are. We can't influence what they do with ball in hand. We can't influence how they execute a handball. But at the end of the day, our energy, they feed off that. And if it starts to become negative very quickly, we're going to see the results, boys. I'm telling you. I said last night on Twitter, I don't know where I came up with this, but it came to me. There's a very big difference between supporters and fans for me. Supporters stick fat and they see it as a balanced view, which is, I hope, what we try to do every week. Fans just love the good times at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of fans at the moment, is what I'm saying. And it's pissing me off a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I'm totally with you. But we've seen some, I mean, it's not too far away. You know, it's only been, 3, 4, 5 years where
the dark times.
Yeah, like it's not too
We've moved on
different.
from that now.
No, you'd hope so.
You'd hope so.
Yeah.
But it's actually not that long ago.
We spoke about
No.
the trust, how much we trust this football club. I still trust them with everything at this
Correct,
point.
but we're talking about us.
Yeah, we're trying to reach a wider community
Of
and
course.
thinking in the same way, which you hope
More
all of our
people are.
listeners and everyone else, does.
All right. Well, we basically ticked off all the run sheet. I did run sheet for the first time in like 50 episodes today. I had to. I had to
Because
get my
last week
thoughts
went a
down.
bit erratic.
Anything else you want to talk about? Individuals at all before we get into votes? Let's not talk about anyone in the
can
votes. But
Can I mention one person? I have to give. There was Elijah Hollins.
yeah, no, he played a good game.
Elijah Hollins' third quarter in particular. Go back and watch it. Was unbelievable.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
He's what Jules found him. I forgot. Anyway, did you see
I
his
did the
his
track.
contribution was a
No, he
joke.
was good. He was good.
Yeah,
Nah,
it was very good.
I'm liking what I'm seeing of Elijah, and I thought he always had the potential. I've said it since.
In those moments, I can see what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
In those moments, from what I'd
Yeah.
seen,
I
I
just
go,
think
Jules,
he needs.
I get it.
He just needs a good run of games, and I reckon you'll see the best of him in the next year
Yeah,
or so.
no,
Not the
he's-
best of him,
he's-
but you'll see him improve.
He's put a couple of good games together now, for
Yeah.
sure. The other one for me is Fantasia, actually. I want to speak about Orazio because I don't know. I don't know if I'm the only one saying it. I think he's one of our classiest players, forward to centre. I just think he's going to get more games under his belt, get some continuity under his feet, because the way that he uses his body and his forward craft to create opportunities, we don't have another small forward available at the moment that can do that. He reminds me a lot of what Jack Martin can do with his body.
I
He's
don't
just
think-
very, very smart. He's a very smart footballer and very clean with ball in hand.
With the injuries that we do have, I don't see him not playing.
No,
Well, obviously.
no, that's right.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
So until we have a full plethora, how do you say it? What's the word I'm looking for?
For what?
For what?
Anyway, all
We're gonna say
out.
plethora.
What is that the word I'm looking for?
When you've got a
Plethora?
plethora
A
of
Plethora.
players.
But I think it's right in the right context.
No.
Plethora.
I'll look at the dictionary. So what I'm trying to say is until we have all those players, small forwards available.
But I'm saying even at that point, he stays in for me. You've got to find a spot for him because he's got so much class. He oozes class forward of centre.
You think?
Yeah,
I probably want to see a bit more.
there's a lot in the
Yeah.
comments that agree.
No. I think he has more. talent,
No, what Jules is saying that-
experience.
Experience counts
Experience?
for a lot. I'm telling you,
But
it counts for a
I
lot.
I
think
get it.
I
But
think
when
when
you're
you've
bringing
got
in Martin to come in,
Yeah.
Motts to
Motlop,
come in,
Elijah,
Fog.
Fog, Elijah, like I think
Yeah.
Elijah's doing better than what Fantasia is at the moment. It's empty already.
Oh, that was going to go straight on this.
It's walking up the
Well,
road
fuck.
faster.
So what I'm trying to say is when
Image
you,
online
when
will
you
kick us
have a
out.
full abundance of those types of players in the side, he might find it hard.
I'm saying we've got to find a spot for him because I like what I'm saying. In the small sample size that
You
we've
did
had,
criticize him though at one stage. I remember
For?
when he got in the way of Harry's leading patterns.
yeah, he did.
Yeah, he
There was
did.
one
There was
moment.
two moments.
There was
Yeah.
one moment.
There was
But-
two.
I don't remember one.
Who's
One
our
you
best?
criticised, and then he did it again a bit later.
I missed the second.
Who's our best small forward?
At the moment available,
No,
Or-
no, no.
Mott's.
Oh, in general.
Okay, second.
Oh well, does Martin count as a small forward?
Well, yeah, medium.
Well, Martin's probably number one.
All
Mott's
right,
is number
then,
two.
yeah, then who? Because you can only play 3 or 4. 4.
Then I think it's fair. Then
But then
Fogg.
you got,
Fogg.
Cotters.
I would say Fog.
You can't
Yeah,
not
Cotters-
gonna,
would
you're not
say
going to play Cotters.
rotates half forward to winning. So
But
it's
he's
different.
one of them.
I'd
Yeah,
be
but you still
saying
need someone
Fogarty.
to sub through. You need realistically, you need 8 players, maybe 9 for your forward line on game day.
7.
7.
They roll with 7.
They don't roll with 7.
I'm telling you, defense have back 6, 7. That's what happens.
No, but I'm
Usually.
saying for our forward line, I think
Unless
we've
you
got a
have
few
what?
more.
You're going to count Cripps when he rests forward. That's not how it works.
No,
No,
you're
not
not.
counting
No,
that,
not
though.
with Cripps. No.
Elijah Hollins last night. Elijah,
Mm.
Durden, Fantasia, Owies,
Charlie, Harry.
Cotters, Charlie, Harry. That's
That's it.
7.
That's it.
Was there not one more?
I don't know if Cripps rested forward, but that's it. You only have
No,
7.
Kennedy was there too before Sard
he
went
did.
off. That's 8.
Yeah.
Right. So, like I said, 8 or 9
Yeah.
players you need.
I mean,
on game day.
Kennedy was playing predominantly mid.
Not
Last
when
night.
he started. He started forward.
No, he started forward.
Yeah, but he was playing predominantly.
Started
mid.
forward, Jules. So you still need 8. I still think you can fit him in when we've got the full plethora of players available.
Maybe it's the right word.
It is the right word. You
The
nailed
wrong
it,
thing
man.
is
It's
no.
not, it's
No,
not.
but you didn't know what the word. You couldn't say it.
All right.
It's because I knew what word it was.
Let's go to votes. Jules. Oh, by the way, a lot of love for your Bologna top tonight too.
Is
I
there?
haven't mentioned that yet, but
He's got a classic shirt of an app now. Just keep
make it a
buying them.
thing.
I should make another thing.
Just keep buying them.
I've got enough, I reckon.
You do have a lot.
My votes.
Yeah, you had Akers 1, Boyd 2, Walsh 3.
Correct.
How about we've all got very similar votes.
Well, Walsh 3 for
you know
everyone.
what? Touch on Jordan Boyd because he's your boy.
Yeah. Jordan Boyd. I had him down for 2. You
had him 2 or
for
1?
I had him
for
2.
I didn't have him in.
You didn't have him in.
No.
I had him for 2. Just because,
And just while we're going through this, leave your 3, 2, 1 in the live chat as well.
so 1 Akers, 2 Boyd, 3 Walsh. 2 for Boyd. I just think his defensive ability, especially one-on-one and coming across to intercept and his tackling is, especially from what we saw on the weekend, he was our best defender.
It's his ball use though.
Yeah, but correct.
His
But
voice is a joke.
his ball use is an absolute joke. He
Joke.
hits people
Mm.
for fun.
He does, and he doesn't
Very
hesitate.
clean. Very
We
clean.
need to get him
the ball.
the ball.
Yep.
It is that simple. So in terms of the patterns that I'm talking about, in terms of what we actually need to build on, we need to try and work
Get the
out
ball in his
patterns
hands.
that get Boyd free and get it to him. Because he'll just himself will be able to distribute.
He can hit targets.
And help with our transition and
Fun.
ball
He
movement.
hits targets for fun. Dan, you had Akers for 1, Cripps for 2, Walshy for 3. Just touch on Akers 150th game. I thought he had he you know what? It was a classic Blake Akers game.
It was.
He was
That's-
clutch at the end too.
yeah.
It could have been
Especially his strut from halftime.
Yeah, he was
God.
walking. How's that? He didn't come out of a
running
jog.
out of the change room, just walking around. They went through a full drill. Just
He was
whatever.
walking.
And we went, you know what? Do whatever you got to do.
Yeah, the goal for me summed up his game. I thought he was brilliant. So I gave him 1. I was touching on Boyd, but I put him as part of that back 6 unit that we'd criticised. So I couldn't give him
Fair.
a vote just because of where I felt the floor was within the game.
Fair.
And then I gave Cripper 2 because the area that we did dominate was the clearance work, and I couldn't get the part that where he ripped the ball out of 3 people's
Oh,
hands.
that was unbelievable.
That was an
It
absolute
right in front of
joke.
us,
Do you remember that?
In the back pocket.
He just ripped it out and just
How
come
many
out.
clearances did he
He
have?
had 7 or 8, I think.
It's a Cripps game. And
Oh,
again,
7 or 8 clearances.
7 or 8 clearances.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, Walsh was leading. He definitely had
nah,
6
he
plus.
had a game.
Jules, he had
7 or
6
8.
plus. I'm
Yeah.
telling you. I'll tell you now.
Oh, look,
Cheers.
you go into your third. You go into
No, no,
No,
no,
I'm
no,
going to
but-
talk about Walsh.
Well, for Cripper, he kicked a goal
He did.
Yeah.
At a crucial
Some of his
time.
tackling too.
and he's tackling. I think he laid. Check how many tackles he laid, Jules.
I don't know. Walsh laid 13. Mike.
Yeah,
So,
I think he had 8
Cripps
tackles.
laid 8 tackles. He had 22 disposals, kicked a goal. He had 5 score involvements, took 3 marks, and had 7 clearances.
Yeah,
There you go.
there you go.
3 out of the 7.
That's why I
as well.
gave him 2.
3
He
inside
was
50s,
actually dominant.
2 tackles inside 50 as well. So of those 11, 2 of them come from him. He dominated.
That's
It's
why
a
he's
Cri-
got
it's
it
a
from me.
Cripps game.
It's a Cripps game. That's why I gave him the 2.
And we all had Walsh for 3. I had Boyd 1, Akers 2, Walsh for 3. We can all touch on Walsh. We had a discussion the other week around where he'd play, wing or half forward. Didn't play either. We're both wrong. Just went straight in the
Well,
guts.
No, that was no, wrong.
It went straight
That
in
was
the
the
guts.
obvious thing. The question was
No,
if
I know.
he didn't play there.
No, I know. But the point was, like, he did
he was
what
going to
we-
play.
he was
did
never.
what-
He was
what we
never
all-
not playing
he
there.
Correct,
did what we
yeah.
all probably realistically thought he was going to do.
I didn't understand why we had the conversation.
Well, we
It
had
was
to
a
fill up
hypothetical.
time. It was a bye week.
It was a hypothetical.
It was a bye week, bloke. We needed a question.
Now,
He
all
was
I
never
want to
not
say,
playing there.
I'm going to read these numbers, okay? Because let's just
Fumbling
appreciate.
at the start, our Walsh.
Yeah, he
Oh,
was.
no
Wasn't he,
shit.
Jules?
Well, I think a few players inside have been pretty fumbly. To be
Hey,
honest
Jules
with
is funny.
Hold on,
No,
can
wait,
I- can I-
Jules is
okay.
funny because he
you. What?
you know how you were sitting like diagonal to me? He looks at me, goes, Paysan, Walshy, bit fumbly. I'm like, it's fucking Sam Walsh
He
playing.
just cut back button as well. He hasn't touched the footy in how
Come
long.
on, man.
Like, God, bloke's
not
criticising
far-
on
footy's
3
not-
minutes of footy.
So,
Footy's not foreign to him.
these numbers are a joke. 34 disposals, standard. 15 contested. He had only 8 turnovers in those 34 disposals. He had 9 score involvements. And now this is where it gets stupid. 611 meters gained, 29 pressure acts, 8 clearances, 4 from the center, 11 inside 50s, 13 tackles from 75% time on ground.
Correct.
Wow.
He's the best player in the competition
Yeah.
when he's up and running.
Just put it into perspective. I think Cripps, Stewart, they all had out 128 minutes minutes played. They had around 107, 108. Walsh only played 91, 92 minutes.
Does Walsh
sorry,
get
95
3
minutes.
I
votes?
think
Oh,
that's 3 Brownlow.
yeah,
votes for
Brownlow?
sure.
Yeah.
I
Does
don't,
he get 3 in that?
it was a close enough game that he could easily poll in a loss.
You would think so, yeah.
And I can't see a more influential player on the
How
ground.
not?
He was,
No,
he
you'd
was
have
a
to.
joke. He was a joke. Look, I was hoping he'd come back and have the impact. I genuinely didn't think he'd have that sort of impact.
That was
That's
unreal.
ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Huge
Yeah.
numbers.
All right. So votes leaderboard. Jules, we spoke about this pre-show as well. Look how many players are on this leaderboard.
It's like the Brady bunch.
But it just shows the dispersion of responsibility among the playing group. When you've got 2, 4, 6, 8 players in our top 5 currently.
Yeah, we have a
Yeah,
plethora
FFP voting.
we got a plethora of players inside there. huh?
Plethora of players, yeah. What are you laughing at?
No, well, we can't vote.
What do
We're
you
just
mean?
not good at voting.
What do you mean?
Like, we're just picking players to pick them.
No, wrong.
You know what I mean?
No,
We're
I
trying
actually
to be-
think
we're trying to have variety.
No,
I think
don't so at all.
I think
How can you
Walsh
say that?
Walsh is already in there, but I reckon
Fuck.
if Walsh played the last 5 games, he'd
They'd be
be
dominant. But,
yeah.
He probably
like,
would.
Charlie did kick 4.
Yeah, but he kicked 4-3. And for me, in a game that you lose,
Yeah.
there's 3 chances to
Still did
go
his job.
digging.
With-
Still did his
with-
job to
with-
in,
with
in
Ch-
some
Three
regards.
chances.
Actually, you know what? Let's
begging.
speak about Charlie for a second.
Hey,
if
to be
he-
fair, he's a freak.
Like,
Yeah, yeah.
He kicked
but
4
if
goals.
he kicks,
How's his goal? How's his goal in the last quarter from nothing on the left? Just picked it up.
so
Fires nothing.
he turns it on for a patch.
He's done that
Usually.
every week.
He does that every week. Do you think? Not he needs to be, but do you think he should be more consistent across the 4 quarters?
Yeah, I think-
quarters,
I think he
not
should.
only with goals, but also with ball in hand, trying to hit up tackle because he did have a few.
He was fumbly last night.
Yeah, and did have a few kicks that were sort of off
Errant.
the side of the boot and,
Yeah.
and so on. And it's sort of been happening over the last. Well, it's been happening for a while.
It's funny you mention that.
Usually, he
'cause
does kick a goal, 4
Yeah.
or 5 goals in a quarter.
It's funny you mention that because I didn't give him a vote. He's in my sort of like
He was in there.
options.
He was
He's in the
in there,
options, yeah. But his disposal efficiency was pretty poor. Like you could actually remember moments where he gave the ball away quite easy. All I would say is other teams would love for their full forwards to be kicking 4 every week, or you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
correct.
It's
So
a
I
luxury
think he's
to have.
still
I'm
doing
ta-
his job.
It's a luxury.
I'm
He did his
talking
job.
for our
I get what you're
team
saying.
game.
Yeah, I
get
get
what
it.
you're saying.
Yeah, I
you know?
get it. From Harry overall gives you more output?
Wow.
Bar the goals.
Across the game.
Minus
Across
the goals.
Yeah, yeah.
No, minus
yeah.
the goals.
Harry does
yeah.
what you're asking Charlie to
No,
do.
that's what I'm
Correct.
saying.
Yeah.
Minus the goals, Harry
Yeah.
gives you more.
Yeah.
Jules?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
for sure.
I just think let Charlie do what he's going
Well, he kicked 4, bloke.
Well,
you
yeah,
can't.
of course.
How can you be angry at that?
Yeah,
That's
let
like
him-
opposition
I can't.
teams.
Let him.
I don't even know why. I
Let him do what he
can't
wants
believe
to.
I'm questioning.
I'm
it.
actually questioning you now.
That's what
All
I'm
right,
saying.
so we're moving on.
But I thought it just like
Now
came into
we're
my
moving on.
mind.
There was a moment today. There was a moment today where I thought we were going to have Livy in the studio for a bit.
She was going to make an appearance. Why are you looking at me like that?
I'm waiting for you to finish your sentence.
Oh. She was going to make an appearance. It got floated, but she just didn't want to wait outside the studio for 50 minutes. Poor girl. She's going to do.
Fair
And
enough too.
With that said, Livy's last word.
Hey everybody, it's Livy with Livy's Last Words, and this is what I thought about the game. Well, I'm just going to start off with, I had to watch the replay, and so we're watching it, and then my dad, he by accidentally pressed fast forwarded to the live, and it was the last 5 minutes of the game, so it was so stressful because we were just watching it, and then we saw the score, and it just ruined it all. But anyways, this is what I thought about the game. Well, first of all, in the first and second quarter, we played okay. Our defense wasn't the best. Adelaide, they definitely had a few easy marks in their forward 50, which was just not very good for us. Having Side getting injured is just not good at all. But in the second half, we played way better, absolutely better. Pressure was on point, defense, everything. We're tackling, we're chasing, we're just playing amazing. And we were getting a lot of rush behinds, but that's okay. 14 behinds is not very good. We should have kicked more goals. Our accuracy in our kicking wasn't very good. But anyways, in the fourth quarter, at the start, I was chill. I actually thought we were going to win that game. The crowd was blasting. It was all going so well until the last 5 minutes of the game was absolutely... I just can't believe we lost. Watching back on it, we probably should have won that game. We had the crowd, we had everything, but it shows that one fumble can change the whole game. Always has to stub his toe. If Always kicked that goal, it would have been absolutely amazing. We're 16 points ahead and we had to lose. It's so frustrating and disappointing as it was our first loss of the season. But it's alright. Sam Walsh is back, baby. He's so good. He had an absolutely amazing game. Was definitely the best player. Definitely for sure. 34 disposals. Easy. But anyways, Charlie played amazing. 4 goals. But I felt like he could have kicked more because, his kicking was a little bit off, but that's okay. Mackay, very strong with all his marks, which was amazing. And Cripper, he was a little bit quiet, but he still absolutely dominated. But anyways, that is what I thought about the game. Go the Blues!
I'll tell you what, I am more and more impressed by Livy every week, to be honest.
It's good.
Yeah. Sucks that that the stream skipped ahead.
Therefore,
Yeah.
Ruined the
Then
result.
what? She had to rewatch it, or she go back.
nah, they knew the result. They didn't worry about it.
Just in the live chat here, Yuval. Millennials just look at stats, not actual play. I don't know if you only joined 5 minutes ago, but we've looked at a lot more than just stats. I can tell you. I think first time I looked at stats was in the votes. We did 50 minutes before that. Anyway, all right. Hey, there's another week in footy, boys. Always is.
You got a response.
GWS. Huh?
You got a response.
Whatever. Another week in footy. The GWS next week, most informed team in the comp on paper. Saturday, 4:35 again, same place, same time. Now, we've spoken about the injuries. We're not going to back over that, but obviously it's a big part of the coming week and what the team will look like that runs out on Saturday. We'll get to the ins and outs in a minute, but what do you think of GWS this season so far as a bit of Oppo reporting?
They're a good team.
My head went just
It's all
alter-
right, it's
just
all right,
leave
it's
it.
fine.
Use it to answer the question. Let me just understand where you're coming from, please. Go.
Well, they're a good outfit, aren't they? GWS. I reckon they're going to, obviously they're going to go deep. They've had a very good.
Come up with work.
I know,
Leave
I
it.
saw. It's fine. It's fine. I haven't said anything. Hey, Pov gets real offended real easy. He gets like really fucking
Because he
sensitive.
makes a fucking big deal about it.
I
He's just
didn't.
staring at
I
me.
actually didn't. I just looked at you because he looked lost.
When I'm doing this, staring at you, I go to Jules first.
I did throw to him. Jules, go.
Sorry, Jules.
Joe, you do it every time.
Fuck.
I mean, obviously they're a very good side, aren't they? I mean, they're very probably one of the most well balanced teams, I reckon. That's what I think.
Definitely agree.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they've just got everything, especially with Hogan firing now as well up forward. I think
Yeah,
it's
I think we'll cover Hogan, to be honest.
no. Obviously, I'm just talking in terms of perspective, in terms of the
Yeah,
5 games
as to
they've
why- where
played.
they're at, yeah.
But in saying that, they do have now a few injuries.
A lot
Coming
coming out
of
the
their own. I'm pretty sure Sam Taylor's
Yeah.
looking okay, but like he's looking okay now.
Thankfully,
like, yeah, thankfully,
that
because
was-
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, we watched the incident at the game and
that's
it
one
looked
of the worst collisions I've ever seen.
it's bad.
Yeah.
That was bad.
so. But yeah, they obviously got Cogs out, Taylor out. So
Yeah, Cogs, Taylor, and apparently Kieran Briggs is under an injury cloud coming out of the Saints.
There you
game.
go.
My
So-
concern is them on transition. They are scary.
yeah, I just looked at
They
their
move the ball
clearances.
blistering.
I just looked at their clearances. They lost the clearance to St Kilda by like plus 10 or more.
They
like
lost.
12, 13 yeah, lost it. So
Because Jack Steele had an absolute game.
Yeah.
He did. Super coach.
yeah.
Yep,
So I'm
144.
assuming they scored off turnover.
No, Jules, they were like a joke. Like Whitfield to Cogs to Bang
Yeah.
to like
Well, they also got a Kelly.
Daniels, who's scary. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
Brent
just,
Daniels is a great
Brent
player.
Daniels is a good
But
player.
they've also got, when you got the likes of Kelly and Whitfield with ball in hand,
Oh, they're
like what do you
class.
expect
They should be a good team.
going to happen? Yeah.
They should be a good team
Yeah,
with the personnel they've got.
yeah. But they've added another layer with their ball movement.
So
Tanya.
I think it could be a very free flowing game again, is what I'm thinking coming into this.
Yeah.
Because
I think it helps us.
I think it does too. I think if we've done our Oppo analysis right during the week, there'll be a much bigger focus on transition coming out of the Adelaide game. And I think that'll hold us in good stead against GWS for sure.
Yeah.
Obviously, personnel, we're going to be down Chera, Sard, Gov, Fogg, plus the other names that I've already missed.
Well, it gives opportunity.
It
Yeah.
does. Who comes in? Is this the week we see Ashton Moyer, for instance?
I don't think so.
No?
Yeah, I tend to agree with Jules.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think if you look at the players is that most likely come out, I think Marchbank's probably ready to take Gov's spot.
Yep. Hopefully Marchie's good to go.
I think a Cowan, by reports, he had a good game.
Yep.
I know Sincotta didn't play today. I don't
Pito
think
come out.
I don't think so. Of the players that we have available to come in,
Yeah, I'd say probably not.
yeah, I'll say probably not. Even though I think if there was a few more players available, I reckon that would be the case. Unless they're thinking Binns is ready to play, because
So,
by reports
alright.
he had another good game as
So
well.
we've got
today.
it. So
goal was great.
So based
Yeah.
on we've got to bring in 2 players for Sard and Gov. Jack Howell
Archie?
comes in. Jack Howell comes in for me, I think, rather than playing him as a sub. He's done enough throughout the year.
Yeah,
You can probably move pieces around to make it work
Yeah.
as well.
Jack Howell comes in for me, and then it's probably a Cowan or a Marchbank.
Yeah.
And you move.
but then do you have a Kennedy playing defense?
Sub.
Well, this is what I was going
You
to
can move
say.
him to the sub. You can move him.
But who can't-
move him to the
yeah.
sub.
Who?
Kennedy,
You move
But you
Kennedy.
need
to
two
sub.
defenders. You need 2 defenders.
Marchbank, and Cowan.
Well, I
So-
say,
okay, sorry.
can I say Kennedy prior to this week was kicking goals as well?
Yeah, but he's not going to play forward of centre now. This is the thing with where the personnel are at.
no.
So and this is nothing on Kennedy, right? I want him to play every week. I think he's been brilliant. But when you've got the personnel out that you then have to fill the void for.
Why does Carroll not stay the sub? Or why does Carroll not go sub?
I just think with the way GWS move the ball, Kennedy might be exposed with the big body that he is if you're going to play him on ball all game. We've got too many big bodies,
Plus with Pitto.
plus with Pitto in there.
Yeah,
So you
fair.
probably need Jack Carroll on the outside a little bit more silky, smooth with his ball movement. Leave Kennedy in as a sub, bring Kennedy in late as an injection into the forward line if we need him, for instance. I think that's fair. But I'm happy to take suggestions.
I am. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be. I'd love to see a Bins.
Apparently had a good game
I'd
today.
love to see a Bins. If he's had, a few games this
You
year.
feel like he's knocking
plus
on the door all the time.
He's won the VFL
what I mean.
Player of the Year last
Mm.
year. So, and he's
There's
obviously playing.
there's obviously something there that he's not giving just yet. Don't know what it is.
Yeah, correct. And it would be. I mean, I'll not hope so, but I'm thinking it's more team orientated. That's
Yeah,
probably
for
the
sure.
reason why we're like a defensive aspect of it in terms of,
I would say it's based on that wing position.
Mhm.
That's what I would suggest.
yeah.
I'm not going there.
No, we're not.
No, it probably
No,
is.
it is.
But
That's for me.
obviously
That's
there's-
where.
but
That's
obviously-
where his hindrance comes. Is because at the moment, Cottrell, Akers,
and Ollie are
and
doing
Ollie
doing what they
are in the side doing what they need to do.
Yeah.
Or not doing. I'm not going there, but that's why Binns isn't playing in my opinion.
100%.
You're not playing anywhere
100%.
else bar with.
I agree.
Okay. So Marchbank, Cowan come in, definitely. I think we're all aligned there for Sard and McGovern, and then it's just a little bit of what do you do to throw the magnets around to make sure you balance enough against
Well,
the
yeah.
US.
We need that balance, definitely.
I, in terms of predictions, I actually think we win this game. I think we're going to bounce back. I do. I think our pressure is going to be too much for them because at the end of the day, our pressure didn't drop off in this game. It just didn't. Started slow, but by the end of the game, we're back to our profile.
Yeah.
You've got to go with us. If our pressure rating is up at that 190 to 200 mark, you've got to go with us. And if you don't, we're going to expose you and create
Boys,
scoring
we
opportunity.
in the last quarter, like that's how high it was that we had 10, almost 16 points up. We had 10 to 2 inside 50s.
Hey, we
10 to
still
2.
laid 62 tackles for the game and
Yeah.
11 inside 50. It's still way above the AFL average. It's not our standards for the year, but it's still way above. So if that's our floor for pressure, mate,
Yeah.
I'd be shocked if it happened 2 weeks in a row.
I think in terms of the way we played, I mean, we're still sort of doing the review, but in regards to that, I think if we play the way we did against majority of the teams in the AFL, we win more games more often
of
than
course,
Can I ask you another question?
because
both of
good luck going with us when our pressure's that high,
Correct.
bloke.
Can I ask you another question?
not. Tommy.
You said Briggs is out
Might
potentially.
be. There's an
Potentially.
injury cloud there.
If
Apparently,
he's out, do you go with 2 rucks?
no, there's no need.
Correct.
No, there's no need.
Jules?
It depends who their second ruck is.
It'll be
It's not Flynn anymore. He's at West Coast.
Mumford.
No, who is it? I don't know who their second ruck. I don't know.
Come back from the dead.
I don't know who their second ruck
No,
is.
but the reason why
They
I
have
br-
it?
I feel like they do. Let me have a look.
but the reason why I'm bringing that up, if he isn't available,
You don't need 2 rucks.
you probably don't.
No.
But you probably want a Pitto.
Well, I mean, if he's not, then you can really expose the clearances.
Correct.
You could. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. So it could go either way. Agree with that. Is it Bruce? I think it is Bruce. I think he's still on their list.
Is he?
I don't think he plays.
No, Braden Bruce is on their list still, I think. Doesn't play. They don't play 2 rucks, Bob. Anyway,
A lot of teams don't.
I think we're going to win this game by 3 goals. That's where I'm at the moment.
3.
No, they don't. Riccardi and Cadman have a little bit of a.
Yeah, but obviously they've got a
Yeah, I
fucking
know.
second ruck in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Aussies.
And then they got 1 ruck on their list.
No,
3
we-
goals.
They back Briggs that much.
I think we bounce back this week. I think we'll see our profile as we've come to know it over the last 18 games in particular, and particularly over the last 4. And I think we win this game by 3 goals, boys. And we just say to the footy world, calm your horses. I'm not going anywhere.
I think 9 points. That's me.
More inclined to lean towards that pays
So
on.
it's another heart attack.
10,
What you're
10
telling me.
Yeah.
points. 10-ish.
Alright.
That's where my head's at.
Okay.
10 points.
All right. As we do every week.
I don't really have one. I'll do. But...
Keep calm. Count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, 10.
Not happy, Jan!
Yeah, fair enough.
She's like this one.
Okay.
Actually, I don't like telling you before, like
Okay.
in the thing, but not happy with my wife.
You sure you want to go there?
Shocked.
Shock. Yeah, not happy. Obviously, we enjoy going to the game together to see our team win. She decided to come, which I was happy because she's now. You saw her with a scarf.
Yep.
Can't support her.
Yep.
Now, fully fledged.
Hey,
Is
when
she?
you're carrying
Fully fledged.
when you're carrying a Carlton child,
How about,
you can't put a Collingwood
how
scarf
about in a
on.
few weeks' time? What's going to happen?
What do you
No,
mean?
she's Carlton at that game. No.
Yeah, no, she's
No,
can't.
she's converted. It's done.
It's done.
If she ever
you can't wear a
wears,
scarf to a Carlton game and
if
say,
your wife
You know
ever
what I mean?
wears a black and white scarf again, I will not be friends with you or her.
me. Anyway, so I'm not happy at her because I told her to stay home and I knew why. Because every single time she comes, we lose. Every single time, boys.
Right?
So even though she's transitioned as a supporter, she's got a lifetime ban until we win a premiership. You're not coming to the. I'm going to test it one more time
No.
when
no,
we play.
the theory's already incorrect.
Why?
She came to Carlton Collingwood last year around 20.
Why? I want to try it one more time.
How's this? I reckon Dad just doesn't want her at games.
He can't be himself.
No, to be fair, I'm worse.
Yeah, worse. Is that it?
Yeah.
Jules, you got anything?
I got more. Jules does it to me.
I do.
Beeline?
I do.
Yeah,
but
right.
If
mine-
everyone's
Story's
got-
too
If
long.
everyone's got 15
It's
minutes,
way too
Jules
long.
could take you
But
through it.
it is a good one.
It's a good one.
ripper.
Listen, I got ones that I can say as well, but you've said no.
Yeah, no.
Stay away.
Well, for your sake.
Yeah.
Not for anyone else's sake.
Well, if everyone's got 15 minutes, Jules tells about Beeline.
Not 15.
It's way too long.
No,
It's
it's long.
way too long.
I think that's it. I've got nothing this week. I'm calm. If Scotty Sheffield doesn't win tomorrow, I'll have one next
I'll
week.
have a not happy Dan.
It'll be at me.
At you.
He wins tomorrow. Boys, it's been a pleasure. Everyone in the live chat that joined us tonight, thank you very much. And if you are listening on Spotify, hit that 5 stars, hit that follow. Until next week, boys. Up the baggers.
Out the baggers.
Carna Blues.